Hey guys, welcome to It's a Bronx Story.
A podcast by two lifelong Yankee fans about all things Yankees.
All right, guys, so on this week's episode, we are going to be talking about the Twin series and the Cub series. I was out of town for this whole weekend, so we weren't able to record for the Twins, but so we'll just talk about both in this one. And then across the MLB, we wanted to talk about Tony La Russa and that whole situation, the White Sox, and kind of their downfall that's going on right now. We wanted to talk about the Jared Walsh hitting a cycle. That's obviously a short mention, and then we want to talk about the NL East and just how the Braves and Phillies have been on an absolute tear. And while the Mets are still doing good, their division lead is shrinking day by day. So yeah, that's kind of the general idea for this episode. And obviously, there are some other things we're going to talk about, but they're kind of intertwined with the games that the Yankees have played. So we'll start it off with the Twin series. Started last Tuesday.
Yeah. So I think going into this series, we had like great pitching. So we had Tyone, Cortez, and Cole going for us. So, they've been unbelievable. And like the way I always think about the Twins is that like they're our safety blanket. No matter what, we're always able to crush them. Like we have a ridiculous stat against them where we're like 37 and 95 against them. Like that's insane. So they're 280 winning percentage against us, the Twins. That's that's crazy. So no matter what, like where they say like if something's not working, you just need a reset. The Twins
Yep.
are our reset. No
Yeah.
matter what, just face the Twins and we'll be right eventually. We'll get right.
Yeah. I mean, a big takeaway from this series. We'll get into other stuff, but Aaron Hicks just seems to be back to like an
Mhm.
all-star player whenever he plays in Minnesota. I'm sure
Yeah.
everyone remembers 2 years ago now. I think
Yeah.
2019 when Aaron
2019.
Hicks made the diving catch to win the game after hitting a two-run home run to tie the game or go ahead, and like that crazy 14-13. I think the
Yeah.
score was win
Yeah.
against the Twins.
Hmm.
And Ryan Ruocco was calling that series. He called this one too.
Hmm.
So Aaron Hicks showed up, but
Yeah.
I'll let you talk about what group of people didn't show up in this series.
Yeah, it just our pitching just was a letdown this series. You think we have Tyone going, and well, to start the first game, we were awesome. So I think DJ leads off with a single, Judge 2-run home run, and then Stanton gets in on the fun with a home run. So when they both homer, we're what have like a
It,
20-1 record, something
I
like
think it's
that.
like 21-2 or something
Yeah,
crazy high.
so like we virtually win every single game. So it was like in the first inning, they both hit a home run. So you're like, okay, this is a win now. Like we don't need to
Yeah,
watch the rest of the game, but obviously you do. Tyone just did not have it. He goes 4 innings and like he just couldn't put away hitters. You could tell by his stuff, it just wasn't moving. Like he doesn't walk guys, but he was definitely like he didn't have his pitches. It wasn't going where he wanted it. He couldn't put hitters away, so they would just get, two strike singles and he was definitely laboring through those 4 innings. He gave
yeah,
up 9 hits, gave up 4 runs. It was not a typical start you would see.
yeah. But I mean, the rest of this game, the offense was great. And was this the Judge hit 2 home runs this game?
No.
Okay, but but the thing with this team is if one of the three, the offense, the starters, and the bullpen, if one of them isn't on, it seems like the other two always are. And
Yeah.
Tyone wasn't great, but then the bullpen came in and pitched 5 innings of no runs,
Scoreless. Yeah.
3 hits over those 5 innings, no walks. Like it's just whatever you need the team to do.
Hmm.
Right now, it's 8 out of 10 games they're
Yeah.
gonna do it.
Yeah.
It's just crazy to watch. Like 10 runs now, when this team scores 10 runs, it's like, oh, this is a fun game. Like last year, if the team scored 10 runs, it was like this is a miracle. Like this is
Yeah.
the greatest thing to ever happen. And now it's just kind of a normal thing. They've scored
Yeah.
10 runs 10 times already this season. They only
Which is
did it
insane.
8 times all of last year, I'm pretty sure, or 6 times, I think actually.
Mhm. Even
Something.
it's a it's a turnaround from even at the beginning of the season where we were getting
Hmm.
shut out and
Yeah.
you're just like, what's going on with our offense? Like we knew it wasn't this bad, but we were questioning if they're a good offense anymore. Like
Yeah.
what's happening? But now they have their stuff together. Their Judge is putting up an MVP season. I think he is the MVP at this
Oh
point. I
yeah.
don't I
Yeah.
don't think it's arguable.
Yeah.
But
What like Trout was right there, but then Trout really
yeah,
had
his
that super
yeah.
cold streak, and now it's
Mhm.
Judge is the MVP right now.
hmm Judge is putting up similar, actually better numbers than his rookie year
Yeah.
when he hit 52 home runs. And like what really separates that when in his rookie year by the All-Star break, he was also leading in Triple Crown. He was hitting above 300, leading
Hmm.
in home runs and RBIs. And
Yeah.
you thought he had a chance at it. But what really undid him was the strikeouts. You
Yeah.
know, he had that awful stretch where he struck out in like what 30 games in a row.
Yeah.
It was a bad stretch. Even now, Judge has gotten his strikeout numbers down, which
Yeah.
is really impressive.
I mean, if you look at Aaron Judge's Savant page, it's ridiculous. Like
Mhm.
almost every hitting stat is just bright red. Like there's like four things at 100. Judge has I think 48 barrels this year. The next closest is Stanton with 30, and
Mhm.
like that's
Wow.
18 barrels. It's not even close.
Yeah.
Judge is
Yeah.
just
That's
tattooing the ball. Like his only bad hitting stat on Savant is strikeouts, and it's
mhm.
like 20 something or 30th percentile. So it's not, and it's not
Mhm.
horrible. It's not like 2017. I'm pretty. Didn't he strike out 200 times that year?
I don't think he struck out 200 times, but he came close
He
to it.
came close. I don't think he's
Yeah.
gonna get that close this year.
hmm
It's just,
Yeah.
and he's hitting 318 now. It's crazy. Like,
Yeah.
and he's
But
on pace for 66 home runs.
yep. I think his average has moved up since then, including this game, right?
No, I
Or
think
is
it's
it is
318 after this game,
currently? Oh,
or
okay.
like current to right now.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
So Judge hit a home run that game. DJ also showed up, got 3 hits. Hicks looked good, like you mentioned earlier. Just whenever he comes to Minnesota, it seems like he has his best performance.
mm,
And then Gallo also showed some signs of life. Another guy that showed up this series.
yep, yeah. Um, I mean, game two was overall just a bit of a stinker.
hmm
I don't. There's not a whole lot to talk about. Nestor gave up 4 runs, so he
hmm
gave up over 3 runs for the first time, and
Yeah.
I don't know
He
how long.
he looked good early in the start, like through the first 3 innings, he seemed like he was cruising, and then it just seemed like I wouldn't say he got hit hard. It just seemed like he just gave up hits. He just kind of I don't want to say they're unlucky because there was definitely like legitimate base hits. It's just
Mhm.
you're not used to seeing him getting hit like this. Like
Yeah.
overall, this isn't like the worst performance in the world. It's not like the sky is falling or anything. It's just
Hmm.
you're not used to him giving up 3 runs or more. He gave up 4 runs in 4 innings, which isn't terrible, I think.
Yeah.
With the way the Yankees offense is, it would have given them a chance. It's just that, the Twins pitching was just really good.
Yeah, and Clark Schmidt gave up 4 runs,
hmm
which I mean, this is one of the only times this whole season that Clark has had a bad game. So
hmm
like it sucks, but you gotta let it slide. Just like you're gonna let Nestor
hmm
have a bad game every now and again. Like the bullpen
hmm
guys aren't gonna be perfect every single game.
hmm
And
Yeah.
then the offense was just flat this game. Like there's really
Yeah.
not much to talk about that on that side.
Yeah.
The Twins pitching just did a great job. Uh,
hmm
so the series is tied 1-1 at that point, going into the rubber match game three, and
Yeah.
this was
And we have
a
Cole going
wild
here.
ride.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we have Cole pitching the rubber game, and you think, well, he's been on such a great streak. We should be able to win this game easy. You'll see, Cole go like 7 innings, maybe 2 runs at most, and then Yankees will just, take care of it. The Yankees scored in the first inning, which was good. I think it was off of a Josh Donaldson sac fly because who gets things started? Judge worked the walk,
Mm-hmm.
able to get the third, and then scored on a sac fly.
Yep.
So we're leading 1-0. You feel good. You have Cole on the mound. he got rocked. The first three hitters, home
Yeah.
runs.
I mean, I was listening to this part on the radio, and John Sterling was like freaking out. He's like, in all of my years of watching baseball and like being the broadcaster for these games, I don't think I've
Mhm.
ever seen three home runs to start a game.
Yeah. And
And
they were legit home runs too.
yeah,
So first pitch Arise, who's, the major league leader in average, but he's not a power hitter, takes cold deep and you're like, okay, just settle down now. Figure it out. You allowed a home run. Buxton hits another home run, and it was also a bomb to left field. And
yeah,
then Correa hits another home run right after.
yeah. And I was driving to Connecticut from Vermont during this, and the reception wasn't that good. And then it kind of just kept going downhill for Cole, and it got to a point where we were down 7-3.
Hmm.
And I just like, because I was going in and out of being able to listen and stuff, so I was like, I'm just gonna listen to this podcast
Hmm.
and just check in once the game is over. But I'll let you talk about
Yeah.
what happened after it got to 7-3.
Yeah. I mean, but we were down 3-1. The Yankees did
Yeah.
show some early signs of life
Oh
because they
yeah.
they tied it immediately 3-3 in the top of the second, but then Cole just another nightmare inning allows 3 runs and you're like, what's going on here? Like they pulled him from the game, and that I haven't seen Cole have that type of performance. He gave up 5 home runs this game,
Yeah.
and I'm not worried
That's the
about it,
most
but
of his
it's
career.
yeah, I'm not worried about it, but it's like it's shocking to see.
Yeah, I mean, it it was very weird. I wonder if he like was, if they found out some tell or something, or like what was going on, because this is so unlike Cole, and the fact that he gave up 7 runs in 2 innings and still has a three
Hmm.
six ERA just
Yeah.
shows how good he's been
Hmm.
outside like the last however many games. So like, I mean, 1 7 inning no runs, he's right back to like a low three.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
it he can easily rebound from this, but it was definitely a rough game from him. And then, of course, like we said earlier, the 2 out of the 3 after Cole came out, the whole rest of the game. So that's what, 6 and 2/3 innings. Not
Hmm.
a single run
Not a
was scored.
single run.
One
Yep.
single hit.
Yeah. Their bullpen was unbelievable. Actually, I think Lutke gave up a hit, but yeah,
No, I said one
one hit.
single hit.
Oh, okay, okay, yeah, yeah, okay, yeah. So the bullpen was unbelievable. The way they got back into this game was Gallo hit a home run, makes it 7-4, and you feel good about Gallo hitting a home run, but you're like,
Yeah.
okay, it's only 7-4. DJ immediately back to back makes it 7-5, and you're feeling good about it. Now you're looking at the Yankees pitching, you're like, okay, this 2-run game, like we
Hmm.
could win this game, and
Yeah.
we just shut them down. Hicks hits a home run, which is unbelievable. That's only his second home run this year.
Hmm.
For whatever reason, I know he wanted to be a 30-30 guy,
I don't think he's
but the
gonna do
power just
it.
did not show. Yeah, 2 home runs, not going to do it, but he got a home run, and that's just unbelievable for the Yankees. We're chipping away, which is what you like to see. Um, Sorry. So yeah, Hicks hits a home run, and then I think the Yankees Hicks got another like RBI single to like
Mhm.
put us up in the lead for sure. Like that was it. So we ended up winning 10-7, and I
Yeah.
was just like if this was last year, I don't think we win this game.
No.
I think we roll over and die.
Yeah, and something to mention that we forgot, when once we tied it up in the top of the second 3-3, that was off of a 2 run Gallo home run. So
Oh
Gallo had
yeah.
2 home
Yep.
runs in this game, which is what you like need to see from him. And
Hmm.
the last 2 series, Gallo has shown life. Like,
Yeah.
he's definitely rebounded a decent
Hmm.
bit. Like, he's not having a good year still,
Hmm.
and still has a lot of work to do, but he's been a lot better the last 2 series.
Hmm. Yeah. I mean,
But
I think I even though Gallo showed the power swing, I think I felt the most confident in Hicks, just because
Yeah,
I don't need Hicks to be a power hitter. I want him to be a guy that gets on base, but also just hit with runners in scoring position.
yeah,
Like I don't need you to be a power hitter. I would like it sometimes, but you don't need to be that guy. Just get on
yeah.
base and get singles, and keep the line moving.
hmm And Gallo recently, like they've both just been finding holes in the outfield, which
Hmm.
is
Hmm.
what they need to be doing. But
Hmm.
yeah, this game was just a true test of how resilient this team has been this year. The bullpen was tough as nails, didn't let anything get by, and
Hmm.
kept the team, allowed the team to have a chance to come back in the game. Like
Yeah.
if this was 7-3 in the sixth inning, it'd be a lot tougher. But when they had 6 innings to work with, and they just chipped back, and
Hmm.
I mean it was. I wish I could have watched the whole game in person or
Hmm.
like live on TV, but
Yeah, I was giving
great
Ryan
game.
updates. So I was giving him updates on this game and also the Rangers game that was happening. So I was like, okay, Yankees are down 6-3. Cole is like doesn't look so hot. So I'm not feeling good about this game at all. And then the Rangers were also losing. So it was not looking
Rip the
nice for
Rangers.
for New York sports.
Yeah, but they
But yeah,
turned the Yankees turned it around.
the Yankees win this series 2-1. Hicks looks better. Even on the field, he threw out Gio Urshela in game one at home, and he was out by a mile.
Yeah,
So Hicks just seems to be turning a corner, defensively and offensively.
yeah. Um, I just great game overall.
Yeah.
So then that brings us into the Cubs series and something we wanted to talk about real quick. Going into the Cubs series, Clint Frazier was talking a lot of smack, saying how the Yankees
Hmm.
clubhouse didn't let him like they didn't let him be himself. Like they had a problem with the way he dressed and like all that stuff, and how
Hmm.
he didn't like the facial hair policy and like having to cut his hair, all of this stuff. And he was like, I just think the Cubs clubhouse is great. Like I like it here. I fit in.
Hmm.
Blah blah blah. And then announced right before the game, Clint Frazier was DFA'd by the Cubs.
Yeah. So talked a lot and didn't really get to back it up. It seemed weird. Like I have a lot of I want Clint to do well. It's just kind of hard
I
when he's
mean,
just like every
I,
chance he gets, he wants to take a shot against the
yeah,
Yankees.
I
You
did want him to do well, but now
know?
I don't care anymore. Like
Yeah.
he's trying his hardest to make it seem like the Yankees didn't use him because of literally anything other than his skill. Like he just
Mhm.
wasn't good enough.
Yeah.
If he could
Last
play
year
the
was terrible.
Yeah, and if he could play the outfield with this a skill level above a blind raccoon, then like maybe he would have had a spot on the team, but he
Yeah.
couldn't play defense and he didn't hit.
Hmm.
So it's not
Yeah.
because you're hair Clint. It's not because you like sneakers. It has nothing to do with that. It's because you're not a good MLB baseball player.
Yeah.
For the Yankees at least.
Not for the Cubs either. He got
Yeah,
cut,
I mean,
right?
yeah.
So, well, for all the talk that we talked about, like Gallo and Hicks sucking, he had a worse OPS plus than both of them.
And that's impressive.
Yeah.
Like Gallo has
So,
a 600 OPS.
mhm.
Like yeah. And then Stroman, the king of talking crap about the Yankees, who's ever since George Steinbrenner, or not George Steinbrenner, sorry, Hal, or no,
Yeah.
Cashman, ever since
Yep.
Cashman said Stroman isn't a difference maker for this team and would be
Hmm.
probably be out of the bullpen in the playoffs the year that he got
Hmm.
traded to the Mets and like the Yankees were
Yeah.
rumored, ever since that happened, Marcus Stroman just talks as much trash as he can
Hmm.
about the Yankees.
Yeah. Yep.
It's it's kind of sad, but and then he went on the IL. We thought we were gonna get to face him,
Yep.
and I was so excited. And
Yep.
then he goes to the IL. So
Yeah. Yep. So I had games to both of them. So I went to two games for the against the Cubs. I was really excited to see, Clint, and then also just boo Stroman. I was gonna boo Clint, although like his comments kind of made me want to boo him.
yeah,
Like, but he had his injuries, the
yeah,
concussions. I wish him well. I hope he overcomes that. But it's similar to Andujar, where like the outfield is just too crowded and they just
Yeah.
don't have a spot. And
Yeah.
actually, recently, Andujar asked for the Yankees to trade him. There's
Yeah,
just
and
not a
I don't
spot for
blame him.
either of
Like
them.
he's
Yeah.
good enough to be at least a backup player in the MLB.
Hmm.
But he's not good enough to be on a team that's 44-16.
Yeah.
Like
Yep.
that it's just it we have four outfielders already that can
Hmm.
all be everyday players and are all better than he is.
Yeah. Yep.
And then we have bench spots that are for Marwin Gonzalez that can play 80 million positions. Matt
Yeah.
Carpenter has 17 million home runs per at bat. Like, and when Tim LeCastro's healthy, like he's the
Yeah.
speed. So there's no way to
Yeah.
fit him on the team that makes
Yeah.
sense. And
It's an embarrassment of riches,
yeah,
really. He's a good player. I think he can be a good player on a different team. It's
yeah,
just it's not on the Yankees,
and like
unfortunately.
yeah, like as much as we like Miggy, he hasn't been good. Like
Hmm.
even this year when he got called up, he wasn't good.
Hmm.
Like
Yeah.
he had some fun hits and some clutch hits, but
Hmm.
he still wasn't
Yeah. Hmm.
like Matt Carpenter's been good.
Hmm. Oh yeah. Like Andujar improved his defense. He's still not a good defensive player, but
Yeah.
I credit to him to learn a new position and do all that, right? Like he put in the work. Like he should be proud of the work that he's done. He played his way back onto the major league roster, but
Mm-hmm.
he's not better on like people will say he's better than Hicks and Gallo. That's not true.
Yeah, no, he's not even close to the same defender as either of
Hmm.
them.
Hmm.
Um, and yeah, even with how bad they've been, they still had a higher OPS than
Hmm.
Miggy.
Yeah.
Miggy wasn't
Yep.
hitting the ball hard. He wasn't
Hmm.
walking.
Hmm.
Like
And
it's
that's the
just
thing. If you're not walking, like at least you could get on base and do something. It's like
yeah, like Glaber.
if you're yeah, yep. If your only way is to hit your way on base, then you need to be hitting really well.
Yeah, and like Glaber's average isn't super high, but he's around an 800 OPS and he's not walking. So that
Hmm.
means he's hitting when he does get his hits, he's getting a lot of extra base hits. So
Hmm.
and he's also hitting the ball hard, which Miggy wasn't doing. So his
Hmm.
expected stats look pretty good too, and Miggy's don't.
Yeah.
But yeah, so going into the Cubs series, I mean, a sweep is not the
You
expectation,
you
but
would
like
you
you
would
could
like yeah
definitely get the sweep. It's
yeah
not like
you would
the
like to see a sweep. So
yeah. You can go.
yes. Yeah, so going into this game, it was Sevy versus Wade Miley. So they that's why they had all those moves. That's why Clint was uh, designated for assignment because they activated a whole bunch of players off the IL. So they activated Wade Miley, VR, and Chris Martin. So they had too much players on the 40 men, designated Clint, and that was our starting matchup: Cole versus Wade Miley, and this was a pitcher's duel.
Yeah, yeah. I
So.
mean, I think the teams went 1 for 31. I think they combined
Mhm.
for 1 for 31 with runners in scoring position this game.
Hmm.
It was an interesting game to say the least. Even
Yeah.
with Manfred ball, it still went 13 innings. Uh, Before the 13th inning,
Yep.
the only run for the Yankees was a Gleyber Torres solo shot, and the only run for the
Which came,
Cubs. Oh yeah,
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 that came after Wade Miley was pulled from the game. I didn't realize he was hurt because I was looking. I was like, wait, he went 3 innings. He's looking good, scoreless so far. I think he only had like 45 pitches in, and then they put in Daniel Norris. First pitch, Glaber jumps on it, hits a home run, but it's because Wade Miley's shoulder was barking. He was had an injury, so they took him out.
yeah. And then the only Cubs home run was a solo home run from Jason Hayward off
Hmm.
Sevy. I mean, Sevy this game, 6 innings pitched, 1 earned run, 1 walk, 10 strikeouts.
Hmm.
Like it was a pretty dominant Sevy performance.
Hmm. Yeah. Yep. He looked really good. And then, the bullpen from there just shut out. It was really
Yeah,
crazy is that I was telling I went with Art. So we was like, okay, we're going into extra innings. We hate this, the ghost runner, but it was like, well, at least it'll make the game go by faster. It did not make the game go faster.
Yeah.
We went to the 13th inning.
Yeah, I mean our bullpen had 7 innings pitched, 2 hits, no runs,
Hmm.
3 walks, so not allowing many base runners over 7 innings
Hmm.
at all,
Yeah.
not allowing any runs, and they had to use Castro, King, Clay, Clark Schmidt, Wandy Peralta, and Rob Marinaccio, and Schmidt bounced back nicely with
Hmm.
two scoreless no hit innings.
Yeah.
Um,
Was it Clint? Was it Clark Schmidt that had the double play, that crazy double play
yeah,
where it was like hit right to him and then okay, yeah,
yeah,
yep.
yeah. So that
So yeah,
was a great job by the bullpen. And then, of course, the walk off
Trevino,
comes from Jose Trevino on his son's birthday. So he
yeah,
just likes to hit walk offs on big days for him. Uh,
hmm,
I mean, not enough can be said about Trevino.
yep,
He's such a fun player to watch,
yep.
and he has
It was.
his offense is like 20 like Gary Sanchez level offense right now. It's
Mhm.
absolutely bonkers what he's doing.
I think he's an all-star catcher, to be honest with
Yeah, I
you.
think the only AL catcher that's like they send 2 catchers to the All Star game, right?
Yeah,
It
yep,
should be Kirk and Trevi. Like
yeah, yep.
they're, I'm pretty sure they're far and away hitting better than
I
any other catcher.
Yeah, they've been awesome. Also on Friday it was Andy Pettit bobblehead, so I got that as well. So that was cool. So yeah,
Yeah,
so another win, 2-1. Yankees look good, and then we have the next game, and the Yankees just destroy. We have Monty going for us, and then it was I think because the Cubs are kind of banged up, so we knew Stroman was going to be on the IL, but then they said that Hendricks was also day to day. So I think he was supposed to start this game, and they had Schwarmer pitching instead, and he
he
did
didn't
not
have a
look.
good time.
Yeah, it was not a fun time for him.
Yeah, and I mean the offense this game, the Yankees ended up winning 8-0.
Mm-hmm.
Judge had 2 home runs, Stanton had a home run, Glaber had a home run, Trevino had a home run, and Rizzo had a home run. Like
All
they're
solo shots.
the home run numbers are just spiking for this team.
Mm-hmm.
It's 2019 all over again, 2017, 2018.
Mm-hmm.
Like whatever happened to this team in 2021
Mm-hmm.
seems to be a fluke because they're back to being, I'm pretty sure they've scored the most runs per game, but if not, they're top 5 and they're top
Mm-hmm.
5 in like most offensive categories.
Mm-hmm.
So, and they have the highest WRC plus. It's
Yeah,
just like this offense is firing on all cylinders. Like Judge is having an
yeah,
amazing year, but it everything's just working,
yeah,
and it's so fun to watch. They're not like they hit a lot of home runs this series, but they've been winning without hitting home runs too.
yeah,
And Montgomery, the bullpen was shot, so we needed
yeah.
Monty
We
to
needed him to
go
pitch
at
deep.
least six or
Yep,
seven innings
yep.
and get deep into this game. And he muscled through 7 shutout innings, not a single
Mm-hmm.
walk given up, and 5 strikeouts.
Yeah,
Like
was just a
exactly
great
what we
performance.
needed.
Yep. Also, so Judge hit 2 home runs this game. Stin almost hit 2 home runs. Did you see that Twitter exchange between the Cubs and Yankees?
Oh, yep, yeah. When the Cubs were like,
Yeah.
the Yankees fans think everything is a home run.
Yeah. And then the Yankees
Gave up
tweeted
5
back.
more home runs. Oh
Yeah,
wait,
the
what did the
Yankees tweeted
Yankees
back.
say?
They said, Can you blame them?"
Oh
Because the
yeah,
Yankees went on to hit five
yeah,
more home runs. So, you know,
yeah. And that Stanton hit a 119.8 mile per hour home run in this game. That was
yeah. Off the bat, like we knew it
ridiculous.
was a home run. It was crazy. It was like, how do you hit the ball that hard? Like
Yeah,
that's just he really does like hit home runs, but it looks like he just flicks it and they just
yeah,
ch- jump off his bat.
yeah. But yeah, 8-0. Marinaccio and Litke, 2 scoreless innings.
Mm-hmm.
Good for them. And then that leads. So we win the first 2 games of the series, and that brings us to today's game.
Mm-hmm.
And
And
today's
this is
game. was it was something.
Yeah. So we're facing against Keegan Thompson. Might think it's Keenan Thompson out there, just the way he pitched. He gave up. He only lasted. He didn't even last the first inning. He got pulled. The Yankees just jumped right off. Just teed off against him just early. And this game you want to be greedy, right? So we already won the series. It's a bad team. Like we need to go for the sweep, right? Like you're happy
Yeah,
with winning the series, but let's get greedy here and win. We
and for
have
the
a we
sweep
have
they
an
went.
off day. Yeah. We have an off day tomorrow, so it's like, let's just, take care of business right now.
Yeah,
And the
and
Yankees
and
did.
in this game, Glaber and Trevino sat because Trevino's been dealing with some back issue. Nothing
Mhm.
that like he could have played if he needed to, but
Mhm.
since they already won the series, they have an off day tomorrow. They're like,
Mhm.
okay, let's like we're still gonna try and win this game, so
Yeah.
we'll use him if we need to later in the game.
Mhm.
But
It
if
was
we
also
can,
a night game followed by a
yeah,
day game, so it
yeah,
makes sense that you wouldn't want to push it.
and if we can win this game and give him a day off tomorrow, that's just a
Mhm.
win-win. And Kyle Higashioka decided to hit his first home run of the year in this game and his second.
Yeah.
The second was off Frank Schwindel, so a little a little
Did you
position
know
player pain.
Did you know that was the softest pitch to become a home run, 30
Yep.
miles per hour? It was
Yeah.
crazy.
There's a
It
little.
just got out there too.
Yeah.
It wasn't like a
It's tough
moonshot,
to hit a
but
home run
yeah,
on a pitch like that.
yeah, yep,
Yeah, but I mean, the Yankees scored 18 runs in this game. Uh, Only one of those was off the position player.
yeah,
Sean Newcomb looked like a position player pitching out there.
yeah.
Like he pitched 1 inning, gave up 5 runs. It
Hmm.
was just what a like Matt Carpenter, seven
Yeah,
RBIs.
I was going to
Just
say Higgy isn't the story of the game, even though he hits two home runs. It was Matt Carpenter. He also hit two home runs,
and had
and both of them was off of a real pitcher.
yeah, and had 7 RBIs. Like Matt
Yep,
Carpenter has a 1.592 OPS. It
that's insane.
it's
He is our
absolutely
third
wild.
baseman, right?
Um, I mean, I don't know. Like
We have to get him in the lineup somehow. We have
I
to
get
get him
like
in the
while he's
lineup.
hot, I think so. I don't think over the course of the season Matt Carpenter is going to be a
Hmm.
better hitter than Donaldson,
Hmm.
and definitely
Agree.
probably isn't a better fielder. But
Hmm. No, I agree.
yeah,
But while he's hot, we have to keep putting him in. Like
yeah,
he's been unbelievable so far. I think we could still find at bats for him. Whether it's at third base, DH,
hmm
first base if Rizzo needs a day off. But like we have to find a way to get his bat in the lineup with the way he's hitting right now.
yeah. I totally agree. I mean, in this game we only hit 4 home runs and still
Hmm.
scored 18 runs. So it's not like
Yeah.
everything came off the
Hmm.
home run. And
Yeah. Tyone also wasn't as sharp as he usually is, but he went
mhm,
through 5 innings, got the win. The Cubs, continuing from the extra innings games, just cannot score a runner from scoring position. I think their streak is now like over their last 43 at bats with
yeah,
runners in scoring position. So that doesn't mean they haven't scored anything. They just haven't gotten a hit. So they gotten, ground outs to score a run, but they have not been really good with runners in scoring position, which is crazy.
yeah. And Benuelos got his first career save. Because he
Yeah.
pitched 3 innings, so he got a save and an 18-4 win because
Yeah.
he pitched 3 innings. But yeah, I mean, it was a fun game to watch. And right now, Jose Trevino has a 309 batting average with an 861 OPS.
Yeah.
Like,
That's unbelievable.
what's going
That's
on?
an all-star. That's an all-star.
That's an all star for like a position that's not catcher. And he's an
Yeah.
elite defensive catcher.
Yep. Yep.
So,
What a
yeah,
steal. We got him at the beginning of the year for Albert Abreu.
who's now on the Royals.
Yep.
Got
And I think he
DFA'd.
got blown up
Yeah,
today as
probably.
well.
Yeah, but okay, we have four minutes left to run through the rest of our stuff. So Tony La
Yeah.
Russa, for anyone that didn't see, in the Dodgers game with Trey Turner up, Trey Turner was in a 1-2 count, and Tony La Russa ended up intentionally walking him to put a man on first and second.
Hmm.
and then Max Muncy came up and hit a 3-run home run, which
Yeah.
was the
it was
difference maker
also
in the
it
game.
was also 2 outs as well. So it made
Yeah,
no sense why he did it. Like I wonder what he was thinking because it just made no sense. Like even if you go by probabilities, a guy down 1-2, you're more likely to get an out at that situation. It wasn't like
yeah,
it was 2-0, 2-1, and you're like, okay, let me just, intentionally walk him here. Like we
yeah,
tried to, pitch around him and like no, it was 1-2. They had him in a hole.
yeah.
I'm baffled by that decision, and the White Sox fans are frustrated. They're losing to the Rangers, uh, and then they started screaming, "Fire La Russa" because they gave up the lead. So it seems like Chicago is kind of fed up with Tony La Russa.
Yeah, and then for the NL East, the Phillies just lost today, but they were on a 9-game winning streak beforehand, and the
Hmm.
Braves are on an 11-game winning streak, and the
Yeah.
Mets' lead is only 5 games now. Like
Hmm.
they're 5-5 in their last 10. The other two teams are on
Hmm.
fire, so
Yeah.
that's just it's gonna be a fun race to watch.
Yeah. So before their streak, an SNY reporter said, "Yeah, the NL East is over. The Mets have it on lock." And nope, both teams have been on fire. Shows that you can't just predict baseball. This is gonna go down to the wire. I think the Mets have the best like shot at winning the division, but you can't just declare stuff is over, which is
Yeah,
a lesson you should take here with the Yankees. Even though we're 8.5 up, we have a tough schedule coming up. So we're facing, Tampa Bay, Toronto, Tampa Bay again. So,
and then Houston.
and then Houston, exactly. So this is a tough, set. So just keep in mind, we have a big lead, but we got to just keep on doing what we're doing.
Yeah, and those 4 series with those days off is really gonna show
Mm-hmm.
what this Yankees team is about.
Yep.
I'm excited for it.
Mm-hmm.
And then the last like MLB piece of news we have is Jared Walsh hit for the cycle, which I mean it's cool, but
Yeah.
we just want to
That's the
mention it.
third cycle this year.
Yeah,
So there's Yelich hit one, Eduardo Escobar for the Mets hit one a couple of days ago
yeah,
beforehand, and then Walsh. But wanted to note it. It's
yeah,
cool. It's special.
yeah. So that's about all we got. Like
Hmm.
Chinner said, our next matchup is against the Rays. It's gonna be a good matchup. We're at home this time, so let's see if we can take 2 out of 3. But
Hmm.
let's shoot for the sweep. Just knock them out. Get that lead bigger and bigger. Then do the same to Toronto, uh, and and we'll be back once that series is over. So as always, if you enjoyed the episode, remember to leave a rating or review on Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen to your podcast. If you're on YouTube, uh, love to see some comments, like the
Hmm.
video, uh, subscribe if you want to see more. And if you want to reach out to us, we on Twitter and Instagram at the Bronx Story. We always check those. So yeah, um, it was another good week of Yankees baseball. And as always, let's go Yanks.
Let's go Yankees. Let's play ball. Let's keep on winning.
All right, see you guys.
Thanks. Bye.